Hey guys, it's Jan Shartay and I'm back again with another video. So today we're going to be talking about the worst part of business, and that is expenses. Let me tell y'all, I could have never imagined how expensive this business was going to get. And I'm going to tell y'all how ghetto it is, okay? So if you're interested, stay tuned. Welcome to my channel where we talk about boutiques, e-commerce, business, and all things making money online. Okay guys, so let me tell y'all where this came from. So I was on TikTok last night. I'm not on TikTok a lot, but follow me, okay? Anywho, so I was on TikTok and I was searching like boutique owner things, and this girl popped up and she was sharing like her month-to-month sales, but she was in a brick and mortar and the numbers weren't too huge. And all I could think about was, I wonder how much her expenses are. And she never really like said whether or not she was celebrating the numbers or if she was like, these are bad. I don't know if she thought it was good or if it was bad. The only thing that I could think about was the fact that I know that she has rent, and I know that she has utilities, and I know she has to buy inventory to actually fill that space. That's all I could think about, expenses. So I don't have a brick and mortar. However, I do have a warehouse, do have a little office. It is just over 3,000 square feet, and I pay about $1 per square feet. So I pay like $3,100 a month in rent off the rip, $3,100. So if I don't make any money in a month, I have to pay my landlord $3,100, period. He does not care how much money I did or did not make, period. So I want to tell y'all some of the expenses that I currently have in my business. And the reason I want to tell you this is because a lot of people ask me questions about how they can make a certain amount of money, or they ask me how much money they should spend on inventory and things like that, but they don't typically think about the additional operating expenses that business has, okay? So I'm gonna read mine currently. I think this is from like October, line by line, starting with accounting. You need an accountant. If you're making money and you're making money consistently, somebody should be helping you to at least keep your books up to date. So I currently just do bookkeeping. He was my accountant. Now they just do my bookkeeping. And that is $499 a month. Now, I have heard from lots of my business owner friends that I could be getting that cheaper. So that's something I'm gonna look at in 2024. However, I currently pay $499 for bookkeeping, period. And we've already talked about the $3,100 rent. So we're already at $3,600 basically for the month, right? All right, girls, so I ain't gonna lie to you. Business is not as easy as I am making it seem in this video. It, in fact, gets a lot harder. So let's just skip all the nonsense and get straight to business. Click the link in the description and grab my $1,000 a day challenge. It's $19, and it's gonna walk you through the 5 most important elements of growing your boutique or e-commerce business. So go ahead and click that link, girl, because the rest of this video is gonna confuse you even more than it has to. The next line is bank service charges. Let me tell you, so your credit cards and your payment processors and all of those things, they have fees. So if you're using Afterpay and Sezzle and QuietPay, they're not QuietPay anymore, they're Zip, Klarna, Affirm, so on and so forth, all of them have fees attached to them. So if you made $50, I think Afterpay's fee is like 6%. They taking 6% of your $50. So Shopify is gonna say you made $50, you didn't make $50. 6% of that, if it was an Afterpay sale, went to Afterpay, okay? Yes, so bank service charges was $181 in October. Next is contractors. So contractors are basically anybody that helps you run the business. Like they work in the business in some way. They're not technically like an employee, but contractor at the end of the day. So I only have 2 contractors in this business, technically speaking. My husband, who does all of my product fulfillment, I do pay the man. And I also have an assistant. She runs all of my like emails and things like that, so like customer service. So I spent $1,110 on contractors. So I don't know where we're at. We're at like, what are we at? Like $4,000 something now at this point? $4,000. We're not even talking about money made just yet. We're not even talking about inventory just yet. $4,000 something. Next is dues and subscriptions. So subscriptions being like if you pay for like a membership, for example, like let's say that you pay for my membership, that should be included in your business expenses. So let's say you're in a membership, you may pay like a subscription for a Shopify app or things of that nature, subscription. So you wanna make sure those are included, and mines were $146.93 in October. Next is email marketing. So you don't pay per email, you pay for the platform itself. I pay for Klaviyo month to month, and I'm currently paying about $175. So the thing you want to know about that is that you pay based off of the size of your list. So if my list is growing, my fee is growing. But if your list is growing, it doesn't automatically mean that the money coming in from email marketing is growing. So you want to make sure you're actually using the email marketing service and actually sending emails out, not just collecting email subscribers and letting those subscribers collect dust. So I spent $175 on that. Next is insurance. So if you have a building of any sort, if your merchandise is in your house, you should have insurance on it. So I spend $124-ish on insurance every single month to protect my inventory. Because let me tell y'all, one time the fire alarm went off in my old office and I didn't have no insurance yet. And all I could think about was the fact that if the building was going to burn down and I wasn't going to have no inventory to sell the next day. So I immediately got insurance. That's $124. Next is interest expenses. So if you are carrying a balance on your credit cards, you're paying interest on said credit card. So I spent on interest $174.06 in October. Next is going to be loan fees. So let me tell you about loans. So I don't have like bank loans, but I have used Shopify's, Shopify Capital. So Shopify Capital, basically, once you start making a certain amount of money, they'll offer to give you money, and they give you 3 options, and then they take a percentage of your daily sales every day. So let me tell y'all this one before y'all go taking the Shopify Capital and not being intentional about your prices. So I spent $1,131 in loan expenses. Basically, that's money that I paid back to Shopify for the fees for the loan that they gave me, $1,100. Next is model expenses. So I have models for when I do photo shoots. Sometimes I work with one, sometimes I work with multiples in a month. And they all have different fees. Each and every last one of them charge me something different. So I spent about $300 on model expenses. Next is office expenses, $310. So for me, office expenses are anything like anything I buy off Amazon. For example, I don't usually buy anything off of Amazon except for things that are for the office. So like toilet paper, paper towels, things like that, pens. Random little things. I spent $310 and I have no idea what I bought. It was probably my husband buying something on Amazon at the office, y'all. Next is going to be photography. So for photography, I spent $1,100 on photography in October. So obviously, sometimes I still create my content. Sometimes I take the pictures myself. I try not to have to do that. And when I don't do it, obviously somebody has to do it and I have to pay for it. So that was $1,100 for photography. I already told you guys what my rent was. Next is SMS and text marketing. I actually didn't send any texts, I guess, in the month of October, but I feel like that's wrong, which makes me feel like I got to go look at my books all over again. But I pay $15 a month for the actual service itself. I use SMS Bump for text marketing, and it's a $15 month-to-month subscription, which means it should be in the subscriptions. Anywho. Next is going to be social media advertising. I spent $679.38 on ads. So if you're running ads, you want to make sure that you're monitoring the ads, not just for the sake of am I making purchases, but also for the sake of how much money have I spent in relation to what I've made. Next is going to be software subscription. So software, you know what? This is making me realize that I need to have a conversation with my bookkeeper, because why are software subscriptions and dues and subscriptions separate? I don't know. Clearly, I'm not an accountant. But anywho, I spent $2,100 in software subscriptions. So if I had to guess what's included in software subscriptions, it's going to be like my mobile app. My mobile app is $1,000 a month, period. So just like my rent, it don't matter if I made money or not. It's $1,000 every single month. So for me, I got to remember to actually use my mobile app and send traffic to my mobile app so that the mobile app actually makes money for me. $2,100. I don't know what else is wrapped up in there. I'm going to go check because who knows. Anywho, Next is telephone and internet. So I don't pay for like telephone, but I do pay for internet at my office. And that was $234. I got like fiber something real fast internet down there. And it's a sizable, not huge, but like it's a nice size building. So it's $234. Next is transaction fees. So this is what I was talking about, guys. So Shopify itself has transaction fees. I want to say it's like 2.6% plus 30 cents of every transaction that occurs through Shopify's payment system. Like I mentioned, Afterpay, 6%. I don't know what all the payment percentages are for all the other like buy now, pay later options. What's it called? PayPal, they have expenses. No matter what payment processor you use, they have an expense attached to it. And it is your responsibility to make sure you understand that the money that Shopify says that you made is not the money that you actually in fact made. There's a percentage of that needs to be subtracted so that you understand how much money you actually in fact made. So my transaction fees in that month were $1,188.42. And that's it. So when I calculate all of that up, y'all, all of that, that's $10,341.87 for my operating expenses. And that does not include inventory, guys. So what I want you to understand is that, yeah, you started a business to make money, but you know how they say you got to spend money to make money? It's not just on inventory. That was everything that I'm spending outside of inventory. And yeah, there are maybe some things that can be cut or maybe switch to something else, a different platform, so on and so forth. That's a part of business. Making sure that you're staying on top of your expenses, making sure that you're looking at a comparison of how much money you've spent to how much money you've made, and just ultimately going line by line and asking yourself, is this something that I need? Is this something that is actually like a revenue generating part of my business? Is it a marketing expense? Is it helping my business to grow? Or is it something that I'm just paying for month to month and it's not actually impacting my business in a positive way? So again, I wanted to create this video because everybody talks about revenue and how much money they make and all that stuff, but there's not a lot of people who talk about the money that they're spending month to month. So basically, this is the minimum amount of money that I have to make every single month unless I'm able to lower these expenses. I have to make this $10,341 at a minimum every month to just pay my bills, just to keep those things intact. Obviously, I got to buy inventory. I don't know. I don't really have like a set inventory budget. Sometimes it's $8,000. Sometimes it's $20,000. It goes up and down based off of whatever my revenue goals are. So I got to be careful. I got to make sure that I'm actually being smart about these things. So this is part of the reason why I created the Boutique Academy. It's why I have the Boutique Accelerator. It's why I have E-commerce Elementary. And it's why I have the membership, because I want to make sure that you guys are not just learning how to sell merchandise, but more importantly, that you're learning how to actually run your business. Because this is how people go out of business. They think that they're making money when in fact they are not, because they don't have a stronghold over their expenses. So if you're interested in any of those courses, I'll just drop the link to all of them in the description bar, because I don't got time to tell you which one is which and all that good stuff. And if you have any questions about any of them, just drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. 10 bands, 50 bands, 30 bands.